We've got a juicy Jets new rumor, and I think it's going to excite some Jet fans. Let's go.
I'm going to lose my gosh-darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, and we're built for this shit.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcasts, baby. If you're coming in on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe. And by the way, let's give an absolute, because this will be the theme of the show, let's give an absolute round of applause for the debut of the Jets Collective podcast. A meeting of the minds. Jake Asman, Rich Cimini of ESPN, longest, beat writer in Jets history, longest tenured beat writer in Jets history, Rich Cimini, and then the radio personality Brandon Tierney, a.k.a. BT, and Jake Asman. They debuted their show last night, and I watched, and I took a lot of notes. There's a lot of interesting nuggets throughout this thing. But to me, the most interesting nugget that I wrote about a story this morning. I just posted the clip on social media, and you guys are about to hear it from the Jets Collective podcast last night. A fan asked a question on the Jets Collective. At the end, they did a little bit of a mailbag segment. And a fan asked about Kenyon Sadiq at the end of the show. And Brandon Tierney gave his take. And then Rich Cimini says, actually, I've heard a little something about Kenyon Sadiq and the New York Jets. Let's go to this clip. This is from the brand new Jets podcast, okay? The Jets Collective, which you guys could go find out on YouTube. Just search out Jets Collective. They surged over 1,000 subscribers last night and early this morning, so shout out to them in this brand new venture. But this is juicy. This is what I love sinking my teeth into as a Jets fan. Let's roll the footage just from last night's debut episode of Jets Collective.
Yeah. I've heard some rumblings in the scouting community about the Jets and Kenyon Sadiq. I mean,
really,
if the wide receivers are gone, like if Tate, Jordan Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon are gone, and you're sitting there at 16, and Sadiq is there, which I think he probably will be, that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, he is off the charts athletically. I mean, the guy ran a sub 4.4. He's a good kid. There's no red flags. I mean, you could run a lot of two tight end stuff. I mean, the Jets need dynamic weapons. I think we all agree on that. They got Garrett Wilson, and pretty much that's it on the perimeter. Yeah. So you split him out, and you use Mason Taylor as your traditional wide tight end. You got something there. You got a tough matchup for the defense.
By the way, shout out to the fan that is Duncan McLean Jr. Thank you for the question, or perhaps we never get that nugget from Rich Cimini last night. So Duncan McLean Jr., who asked that question on Jets Collective last night, terrific. Oh, my goodness. I love rumblings like this. And this isn't the first. The theme of it isn't bizarre. It's not like we haven't heard it. Fans on this show have asked that question. Hey, Paul, would you be interested in Kenyon Sadiq versus whatever receiver could be there at 16? We've talked about that before. But to me, when ESPN's Rich Cimini says he's heard rumblings about this, interesting. Rich has gotten a lot of these Jets draft things right. And again, we're still, a little less than a month out, but that to me is absolutely fascinating and certainly worth the show. Hey, I think I broke the record for the first show about the new Jets Collective. So there you go. Boom. If that ever is asked at a future bar, let me know. I see some comments in here immediately. NC Green says, I'll take that duck at 16. I'll tell you my take here. I agree with a lot of what Cimini said. We need a dynamic weapon. I don't discriminate whether that happens to be at running back or wide receiver or tight end. Just give me a weapon, man. Garrett Wilson needs some freaking help out there. Whether it's on the inside, the outside, this side, that side, I don't care. I want weapons. I want toys on offense. And Kenyon Sadiq, I mean, good Lord have mercy. I mean, his body was chiseled from the gods. I mean, look at this. I'm going to give you guys some numbers here on Kenyon Sadiq, okay? This guy's 21. He just turned 21, so like he's going to be 21 throughout his entire rookie season. He's listed at 6'3", 241 pounds, a body chiseled by the gods, man. I mean, this guy is spectacular. 3 seasons at Oregon. He appeared in 42 games, caught 80 passes, 892 receiving yards, and 11 touchdowns, and just a weapon of mass destruction. And the scenario is very plausible. If you guys do mock drafts, which, by the way, quick little plug, live at 11 o'clock, Boy Green, this entire cycle, has not done a single mock draft on air. Not one. Not a single one. I've let other people do mock drafts, and I've shared some of my thoughts, but I haven't pulled the trigger. Today, live at 11 o'clock, there will be a dueling mock draft. I picking for the Jets 2-round mock draft, and my partner, Jim Lurch, who's a Giants fan, will be picking for the Giants, and we'll be doing that mock draft together at the same time. The other 30 teams will be picked by the mock draft simulator, but me and Manchild will be picking Jets and Giants. That's coming up at 11 o'clock, so I'm popping my mock draft cherry. That'll be coming up later. 11 o'clock, that'll be cross-streaming on this channel as well. But I'll tell you, man, on this Jets collective nugget here, this is what I love about draft season, man. This kind of draft rumor, that we could do a whole show about this. And NC Green says, I'll take that duck. To me, I don't know, man. I want a friggin' weapon. And Kenyon Sadiq is a weapon, man. I mean, unbelievable chiseled. But I mean, Lance Erline, I'll highlight his comment from his NFL.com report. Quote, a versatile tight end with a shredded physique and alluring potential as a volume target. Sadiq's route tree will be full of branches. His athleticism and break quickness should allow him to uncover against man coverage at all 3 levels. He's talented after the catch with the ability to make things easier for play callers and quarterbacks looking to move the sticks. Teams looking to diversify their passing game options with a talented pass-catching tight end could make Sadiq a priority. And there will be some Jet fans in the audience that go, whoa, Paul, what about Mason Taylor? We just took him with the number 42 overall pick in the 2nd round last year. And let me just say this. I love Mason Taylor. He's a fine player. He had a fine rookie season last year. Here are the numbers. An old Mason Taylor last season, okay? Here are the numbers, an old MT. He appeared in 13 games. He made 11 starts. He finished with 44 receptions on 65 targets for 369 receiving yards and scored 1 touchdown. That's a fine season. And he was close to breaking the franchise rookie record for catches in his season. So he was close. I think the record's 49-ish. So I think he was like 5 away. So he had a very nice season. But perhaps adding a dynamic pass-catching weapon to complement one Mason Taylor. Maybe that could open up more opportunities for Mason. Could opportunities to open up potentially for Garrett Wilson potentially. That could be possible. So yeah, I'm very color me intrigued on this one. Color me intrigued. I've seen a lot of mock draft scenarios, and man, the 3 receivers are often off the board by 16. We're talking Ohio State's Carnell Tate. We're talking Arizona State's Jordan Tyson. We're talking about freaking Makai Lemon out of USC. Those guys are often there. And then what do you do if you're the Jets? What do you do if you're the Jets? You're at pick 16. Do you just force wide receiver and forward, say, all right, Omar Cooper Jr., I guess, some Denzel Boston action potentially, or you take the number 1 tight end on the board and you just say, let me get some of that action. Let me get some Kenyon Sadiq action. And here's another interesting nugget. I see we have a membership being gifted in the chat. Okay, here's another nugget. If you look at the numbers here, okay, so Kenyon Sadiq is, according to the consensus big board, is the 16th overall best prospect. The Jets have the 16th overall pick. Interesting, isn't it? Or is that a random coincidence? Anywho, so he's the number 1 ranked tight end, best tight end in the class. Okay, the next ranked tight end on the consensus big board is Vanderbilt's Eli Stowers at number 55 overall. What am I saying? There's a canyon gap between Kenyon Sadiq and the next best guy. A massive gap. Again, 55, 16. Big chasm, big canyon, big gaping hole. Okay? So consider that as well when you're talking about that position. So this is juicy, man. And a little bit of history here. The last time the New York Jets selected a tight end in the first round was when they traded back into the first round, 2008 NFL draft. They grabbed Dustin Keller out of Purdue. And Dustin Keller was a player, man. I am very proud to have a Dustin Keller jersey in that closet. I love me some Dustin Keller action, man. Yeah. But the last time the Jets took a tight end this high, we're talking number 16 or higher. Well, that story is less fascinating for the fans, baby. A Kyle Brady, 9th overall. I'm just trying to make sure no one throws anything at me while I'm saying him. Kyle Brady, in between all the Warren Sapp chants in the audience. Kyle Brady, 9th overall, Penn State, 1995. That was the last time the New York Jets invested a first-round draft choice of this magnitude in a tight end, Kyle Brady. So that's the history of it, man. That's the history of it. Oh, look at this. Jake Asman. We were just talking about the Jets Collective. He's in here gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Let's go. Jake and I told you privately and publicly for that matter, but I will say it again. Congratulations on the Jets Collective and that debut last night. A spectacular show. I was on the edge of my seat. So much fun. So much new. It was like opening up a fresh bag of potato chips. I mean, there was just a freshness there with the design, sort of the outlay, the three personalities. We've heard a lot of Jake and Rich together, but seeing Jake, Rich, and Brandon Tierney, how they interacted with one another. I've got a lot of questions for Jake. We'll have a Jake Hasman interview, as a matter of fact, later today. That'll be on the MC Show digital channel. I do collab with it, so you can check out my collaboration section here on this channel. But to catch the full interview, you guys can see it on the MC Show digital channel. And I'll tell you, man, I've got a lot of questions about the Jets Collective and its design and things of that nature. So that'll be awesome. Yeah, so that was, again, a spectacular debut. This membership, by the way, let me not skip over that key piece of this puzzle. That membership went to Daniel Diaz. Welcome to the show. Daniel Diaz, you're now a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, and there's 9 raffle tickets for our guy, Jake Asman. Yeah, the show is spectacular. I've got a lot of questions. I'll get to those later with Jake on the Jets Collective and this group and Jake's role, and I've got a lot of questions. We'll save that for the interview later today, but I thought it was a spectacular debut, and I took a lot of notes, so I'll be clipping up a bunch of stuff from the show coming up here. But I thought one of the most interesting things, and to me, the most interesting thing, was that Kenyon Sadiq nugget about the Jets, and that there's some real stuff sort of buzzing here. That is, wow. Very, very interesting. And to me, again, color me intrigued. I'd be there if I'm going to be there at the draft. I'll be there with me, Johnny Boy, Lou B, Jake Asman. A bunch of people are going to be there. And if Roger Goodell comes up to that podium and he plays those draft chimes, and then you give me a 16th overall, the Jets have selected Kenyon Sadiq, I'm probably going to lose him. Like, holy forget. I'll first off say, wow, Rich Samini was right. And then I will also say, like, holy crap. That's amazing, man. We get another weapon. Yes, sir. Another membership being gifted. Let's freaking go. T-Town Jet. Let's ride. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. T-Town Jet, 7 raffle tickets so far this month. Let's start a gosh darn freaking gifting train here, baby. That went to Vegas Nick. Welcome back to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Vegas Nick, you're on the program. How would you guys feel about it? Let's make a poll. Let's do a spur of the moment poll right now. How would you feel if the Jets select Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq in the first round? Love it. Hate it. You have 2 choices. That's it. There's no meh. One or the other. Again, I just put that poll up on YouTube. Feel free to interact with it. How would you like it if they do it? Do you love it or hate it? We'll reference that poll throughout the rest of the show. Let us know how you feel. Again, I didn't necessarily have tight end high on my bingo card because they re-signed Jeremy Ruckert, had a fine year. Jeremy's a fine guy. I was super down on Jeremy, and then last year I'm like, all right, there you go, Jeremy. Way to bounce back. Very nice. So that's cool. So you got Jeremy, you got Mason. Okay, you bring back Jelani Woods, who's just sort of a random dart throw. Like, all right, But Sadiq, I mean, it's a chiseled weapon, man. I'm sure Garrett Wilson would be a happy man. Yeah. Let's go through some of your guys' comments on here, and then, like I said, we'll reference the poll. But yeah, color me intrigued. I love that rumor. That's phenomenal. That's what the season's about. Dave Briga, big fan. Sadiq, a fabulous player, dominant. Oh, nice. NC Green says Jets need a duck. I may do a Mighty Ducks duck, 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 quack, 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 quack. Maybe some of that going on. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, in most mock draft scenarios, I've seen Sadiq be there at 16. Now, there's been a few scenarios where he comes off the board right at 15. I've seen Tampa Bay a few times in the mock draft simulator occasionally. Take Kenyon Sadiq. Most of the time he's there, but I've seen the 3 receivers off the board a lot. I have. The Jordan Tyson injury, though. Ooh. The injury history scares the bleep out of me. Now, a couple days before the draft, he'll do some workouts. He's not going to go through the full gambit, but he's going to do some workouts for teams. So that'll be big to see how he looks, but we'll see. Old Yanka, good to see you here, hanging out, drinking some coffee, fellas. Good to see. Guy Simon says, that's a great show. Talk about Jets Collective last night. And Boy Green Daily, probably. Probably both shows you're saying are great, which I agree. Yes, phenomenal. Yeah, it was great. NC Green says that show was fantastic. I agree. The show was great. It was there was a great dynamic there. Very fresh, very new, and I'm super excited about it moving forward. NC Green says Sadiq would be a matchup nightmare. That would be, again, I'd love to see the creativity of Frank Reich with something like that. Dave Briga says, if Samini is right, it would be great. Sadiq is better than any receiver left. Yeah, that's what I would probably say. Again, if you're comparing Sadiq to, and who are the other guys? Omar Cooper Jr., Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion. Now we're going down the list of who the guys are. Now, the one of the receivers, well, I guess 2. So there's the big 3. Carnell Tate has pretty consistently gone at worst 9th to Kansas City. I've seen him go 6. I've seen him go 7. I've seen him go 5. I mean, I've seen him go pretty high before. So Carnell Tate feels extremely unlikely to be available at 16. So let's put him in a bucket. I rarely ever see that. Daniel Jeremiah had one mock draft where he got him like, ooh, and then I haven't seen it since. Jordan Tyson's a bag of injuries. That scares the crap out of me. To invest a first-round draft choice, 16th overall, which should be a quality piece to the puzzle, and a guy that may never play, like, gosh, that just scares me. It went okay when he's healthy. It looks great, but injuries are a big piece. Injuries are a big piece of the puzzle. So that one gives me the heebie-jeebies. And then we're at Mekhi Lemon. And then there's questions about Mekhi Lemon. Is he a slot-only player, the size of 5'11"? What do you factor in there? How does he fit with the rest of the group? Sure, questions about all these guys. But Tyson and Lemon could be on the board. One of the two or both could potentially be on the board. There are a lot of wide receiver needy teams ahead of us, though, so maybe they just say, hey, F it. We don't care about the injury stuff on Tyson. Just take him. It will be a fascinating conversation. If all 3 are gone, then, again, is Kenyon Sadiq like the shining light there, and is that what you do? Or what would the Jets take Sadiq over one of the top 3 receivers, right? Let's say it's Mekhi Lemon or Kenyon Sadiq. Would the Jets consider Kenyon Sadiq? Or what if it's Tyson and Sadiq? And you're like, Tyson injuries, but Sadiq, like, that to me would be very interesting if they chose to make that decision. That I would be very intrigued by. An Eric Ebron reference from NC Green. He had 13 touchdowns under Frank Reich. Very nice. Eric Ebron, another former first-round tight end. And just real quick, a quick diatribe here. Jake talked about this on the Jets Collective last night. Wouldn't it be funny, I don't know what the word is, that like we've had all this drama over the years about the Jets potentially taking a tight end in the first round because, again, the last time it was nearly 20 years ago with Dustin Keller. It's that you're like, ooh, Brock Bowers, or ooh, Eric Ebron, or ooh, OJ Howard, for those references, right? Of tight ends, like Jet fans for a brief period of time were like, TJ Hawkinson, Noah Fant, whatever. Those first-round tight ends were like, yeah, this is the guy, and then we don't. And then, like, we finally do it on this year that we're sort of like, we're probably not going to do it. Like, that'd be interesting. Let's go to John Holton here, who says, if the wide receivers are gone, then I would be okay with it. And then go wide receiver linebacker with our second-round picks. Yeah, because you're probably going front 7 player 2. So Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, David Miller, whoever your guy is, or Sonny Styles, whatever. You're probably going front 7 at 2. 16, you get this weapon at 16. And then you have 33 and 44. Do you take a wide receiver and say, let's just load up on offense? That'd be fun. And then take a linebacker. We've talked about Jacob Rodriguez as a fan favorite. Josiah Trotter. Who else am I missing who's in that range? So, like, you're talking about some of those second-level linebackers. I would love another linebacker. Add that to the mix. Learn from Demario Davis. That would be good. I'd be game. Jared B. I can't see him being there at 16, but if he is, sign me up. Again, yeah, I've seen a few mocks where he isn't. I don't think it's unrealistic to think he won't be on the board, but I hear you. Yeah, I've seen him a few mocks go at 15. Old Yank. Will a tight end replace our need for a wide receiver, though? No, I would still say I'd want to. The Jets need to add receivers. If you get Kenyon Sadiq, that's a super cool, like, holy blank. Cool. But no, you can't just say, well, the weapon thing is done. Because, again, if Garrett gets hurt again, I hope he doesn't. Knock on anything. I hope he doesn't. But if he gets hurt again, you can't be rolling out Adonai Mitchell and Isaiah Williams and, we have Kenyon Sadiq, though. Like, no. You need to add some depth, star power, sizzle, something to the wide receiver room for sure. No, it doesn't necessarily replace it. I just think it sort of rounds it out, potentially, to have it. Good morning to Donald Johnson here as well. Old Yank says, that's what makes me nervous about not taking a wide receiver at 16, because if you take the situation, what do you do at wide receiver? I still think there's going to be plenty of good receivers in the second round. I wonder if they would double dip in the sense of taking Kenyon Sadiq as a weapon, and then in the second round, do you take a wide receiver and just say, F it, let's get some offense cooking? Maybe they do. I'm not sure. Hep here says 2 tight end sets would be a nightmare for defenses. Again, Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski, putting all the off the field stuff aside, that caused all kinds of wreaking of havoc. Now, Mason Taylor still needs to prove it again. His overall numbers were underwhelming. Again, I'm not, it is what it is. Statistically speaking, he had a unspectacular season. He had some nice moments as a complete tight end where he was blocking and doing things that people don't see. But, it would be interesting to see how they would pair together. Dave Briga simply says, Mason Taylor's not Sadiq. It doesn't seem that way. Yeah. Tank for Ty says, take the quarterback. Is Ty Simpson on the board? Is he on the board? Is he on the board at 16? Because, like, there's so many plausible scenarios. Does he just go top 10? Some people have said. Does he go 16 to the Jets? Does he go at some other point late in the first round? Schefter was pretty confident on the Pat McAfee show. He said, oh, yeah, he's going first round. So we'll see. A lot of people thought Will Levis was going first round. A lot of people thought Shedeur Sanders was going first round. So, you never know. Yeah. NC Green says, I would take Sadiq over Tyson. I'm leaning in that direction. Again, the injuries just scare the blank out of me, NC Green. Good comment on YouTube. Makes me a nervous purpose. Yes. Vegas Nick, new member to the Boyd Green Coffee Club, says, if it comes down to wide receiver 3 or 4 or tight end 1 at 16, I take tight end 1. I do like getting the first whack at the pinata at a certain position. Now, in this particular case, it seems sort of obvious, right? Like wide receiver 1, if there is a surprise to be had, maybe some people love Tyson more than Carnell or something like that. Because I've seen that. If you look at wide receiver boards of draft analysts, some people have Tyson number 1, some people have Carnell Tate number 1. I haven't seen anyone have Mekhi Lemon number 1, but maybe. So there's some debate. There's no debate at tight end. The top tight end by everyone's standard is Kenyon Sadiq. I love that from Jay Reeves. 3 Sib says, Jake, it was a great show, and I'm your biggest hater. So that's a beautiful gesture. Honesty. Very nice. Nagi Boko. Keller could catch. Don't ask him to block, though. Yeah, I love Dustin Keller. Hey, man, you know what? Some people, In life, one of the most important traits is awareness. Knowing what you can do, knowing what you can't do, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. Put yourself in positions to succeed. Your coaching staff puts you in positions to succeed. Dustin Keller was a dynamic receiving weapon. I enjoyed Dustin Keller. It's very unfortunate how his career ended with a very serious injury in Miami, and going to Miami in the first place is disgusting. So, yeah, all of that. I wish it would have ended much better for Dustin, but I've seen some recent social media posts. He seems to be doing well, him and his family, so that's great. We'll have to get, like, Dustin on for an interview. That would be super cool to reminisce and catch up. I'll have to reach out to Dustin Keller's camp and see if he's interested in talking. I don't think I've seen him do any interviews. Yeah, Shadow, we've had some good tight ends. Johnny Mitchell, Mickey Shula. We've had some good tight ends in Jets history. So very nice. Reese says Keller was injury prone. Maybe. I don't remember Dustin Keller being injury prone, but let's take a gander at the numbers here. Maybe I'm misremembering. Yeah, I don't see the injury stuff, to be honest with you. So his first 4 seasons, he appeared in 16 games, 16 games, 16 games, 16 games. His final year appeared in 8. I don't see the injury stuff, but different strokes, different folks, I guess. That doesn't seem to make any sense. Yeah, the only season he missed a game was 2012 with the Jets, and then he went to Miami and got hurt, and I think it was a preseason game. So, yeah, I don't remember the injury stuff, Reese, but I didn't remember it in my memory, and then the stats seem to not say that either, but yeah, maybe. But maybe not. NC Green says Mickey Shula is still the Jets' best tight end ever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can make an argument. You can make a very strong argument that's the case. Tony DeGM says supporting cast of Garrett Wilson, Jeremiah Smith out of Ohio State. Oh, we're projecting for that to happen in the future. Nice. Sadiq, Mason Taylor, pass catcher, running back, plus a vertical threat on an upgrade offensive line. Give the Jets quarterback a great chance. That'd give them the best chance of all time. That's quite a lineup there. We'll see. Getting some 2027 NFL draft in there. Why the hell not? Yes. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to the Jets on that one. Yep. Jerome Barkham, Rich Castor. Okay, so more love for Jets tight ends in history. Rich Castor, Jerome Barkham. Very nice. 2 of the Jets' best tight ends from yesteryear. I like that reference. I love the love. Let's go to Hawksha 34. BG, Sadiq will be a matchup nightmare for any defense. Compare his size and speed to other top receivers. It's true. Yeah, he ran a 4.38 40. Like, I mean, that's incredible. That either broke the record or, depending on the Vernon Davis stopwatches from back in the day. So either broke the record or he's with Vernon Davis. That's a great category to be in. By the way, let's go to the poll. I put it up on YouTube. How would you feel if the Jets select Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq in the first round? Love it, hate it. 70% of you say love it. Okay, there you go. All right, would love it. All right, great. Again, a juicy rumor. I wrote a column about it in the YouTube description down below, posted the clip. If you guys missed the show and you're just coming in on my Twitter and Instagram, or just replay this YouTube video, you can rewind it back to listen to the clip we played at the beginning of the show. Rich Samini says, I have the transcribed quote here, so let me just read it to you instead of misplacing it. Rich Samini said last night on the Jets Collective, a brand new Jets podcast on YouTube, you guys can search that out, that, quote, he has heard some rumblings in the scouting community about the New York Jets and Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq, that if the wide receivers are gone, like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, and you're sitting there at pick 16 and Sadiq is there, which I think he probably will be, that's going to be an interesting one. So that could be the surprise of the draft. Like, I don't know if a lot of other people will be projecting Kenyon Sadiq to the Jets at 16. So that would be crazy. Also, I just was reminded that first-round picks this year are 8 minutes. 8 minutes per pick. So it's going to have a little bit more of a pace. I'll be there. I'll let you know if it feels that way, although I've never been to a draft before. They used to be, first-round picks used to get 15 minutes per team, and then it went down to 10 minutes, and now it's at 8 minutes. So the draft normally ends midnight-ish And now they're trying to shoot for 11 o'clock-ish, so make it end a little bit earlier. So, yeah, 8 minutes. 8-minute picks. Yeah. Some Sadiq love. Yeah, Nangi Boko compares Jordan Tyson to Devin Smith. Blah, that's a terrible comp. I hate that. And man, I remember hearing so many positive things, and our second round curse is terrible too. Vegas Nick, some context here. He said, I voted love it because it was more so than hate it, but I would like to see who's on the board. Again, as is any context, what did they pass up? That's fair. Lou B says Casey and Ravens may take Sadiq. All right, yeah, maybe we'll see that. That could be possible, I suppose. Yeah. Nangi Boko says today is Simpsons Pro Day. The Jets, well, I don't want to say no Jets people will be at it. I'm sure some Jets people. Darren Muji will not be at that Pro Day. He's going to be at the Ohio State Pro Day today. So that's going to be, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Caden McDonald. I mean, go through the Carnell Tates. I mean, offense, defense, everything. I mean, it's a factory over there. So yeah, Darren Muji will not be at the Pro Day. He will not be at the Pro Day, which is interesting. Which I don't. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it is worth noting, I suppose. Knowledge of Jedi, relatively new member to the YouTube channel, says if we take him, we're going to use him like a slot. How the Ravens use Shannon Sharp. Oh, that would be friggin' sweet. Give me that kind of usage. Yeah, Shannon Sharp, that guy worked out pretty well. It'd be pretty nice. Make sure you guys like the video. We got a couple hundred people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe, baby. I see we surpassed over 8,510 subscribers last night. Let's go. I see we picked up a few more on the show today this morning. Excellent. We're a couple away from 8,520. Here's an axe. Here's a tree. And just as we're heading towards. I don't know if those sound effects did anything for you out in the audience, but they were trying to chase 10,000 subscribers. That was a dream of mine when I started this YouTube channel 5+ years ago, to get to 10,000 subscribers. I thought that'd be pretty cool, man. So we're beelining towards that thing. So tell your friends, as Philium likes to say. Tell your family. Get a train rolling of people subscribing to youtube.com/@boygreen25. I appreciate it. We'll also get some phone calls coming up here. Again, another reminder, at 11 o'clock, I will be doing my first mock draft, a 2-round mock draft for the Jets. I'll be doing a dueling mock draft with my Giants partner extraordinaire, Jim the Man-Child Lurch. He'll be picking for the Giants. I'll be picking for the Jets, and we'll be a live 2-round mock draft, and the mock draft machine picks all the rest of the picks. And we'll see. I've not got to pull the trigger on my own mock draft. I've always just sort of been the MC for someone else doing a mock draft on my channel. So I can't wait to pop that cherry for the 2026 cycle later than I've ever done it. So I've heard a lot of information, and we'll see if live in the moment can I do what I want to do. We'll see. Yeah. Let's go to Rover Bet says Denzel Boston is Keon Coleman. Oh, disgusting. God, I hope not. That'd be gross. Well, I mean, I guess it depends where he goes, but Keon Coleman. A Keon Coleman camp. Oh, boy. Not great. Troy Sturgis. I would love for Mooj to move back into the top 10 to either get Styles or Love. Maybe use some of our draft assets for this. I'll tell you this. This is sort of my plan. We'll see if my plan comes to fruition. Again, I haven't done a mock draft yet for myself. Sort of my plan heading into this mock draft at 11 o'clock. Let's get something at 2, whatever we're going to get, and then let's try to move up from 16 if the opportunity presents itself. I gotta see. I'm gonna make some calls when people are on the clock. I'm gonna make some calls and see if I can do some moving and grooving, because I wouldn't mind that. Trend back into the top 10, see if I can secure something. Yeah, we'll see for sure. Yeah, let's see here. Let's go through some more comments. We'll open up the phone lines here in just a few minutes. Good morning to Indy, Uncle Indy in the chat. Good to see you, Uncle Indy. Welcome. Welcome to the show, baby. Appreciate you. Incel Alon says, hell yeah. Sadiq at 16, wide receiver at 33. I think there's going to be some nice receivers at 33. They could double dip. Nagi Boko says, what about this? Sadiq at 16, Casey Concepcion at 44. That would be interesting. Casey Concepcion has some drop issues. So I saw that. Someone shared a graphic of the most drops of any receivers coming out. And Casey Concepcion was like in the top 5 or something. So you don't love that. You don't love that at all. Yeah, cross your fingers for Mendoza. I see that. Donald Johnson. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I respect it. I respect your dedication. Danger Zone, quack, quack. Who is Sadiq? Never heard of him. The Robert Saleh comment, by the way, on the Jets Collective Brandon Tierney thing last night was hilarious. Danger Zone, so very nice. I didn't know if Jake was actually going to bring that up on the show, but that was hilarious that he did. Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah. That's funny. Let's see. Ooh, I love this. NY Jets FL Ted says Paul Sadiq is good enough to run jet sweeps out of the backfield. Yeah, maybe Frank Wright can cook. I'll tell you another comment. I'll have to cut this up for social. Another comment that got me from that I found fascinating by Rich Cimini was he said that Tanner Engstrand was, quote, in over his head last year. And I'll let you guys hear the full clip, but I just wrote down that quote. For all the people, by the way, that say, that cried about losing Tanner Engstrand and said, the kids don't know what they're doing. I'm like, come on, man. Get over yourself. Look at our offense. Look at our stats. And we're just going to make excuses? Like, he's a first-time play caller, and it is what it is. Like, whether a first-time play caller or 20-year play caller, we're the Jets. We're Jet fans. We want good offense. I don't care what your origin story is. This isn't a movie. Like, can you deliver or not? Obviously, AG's like, man, I don't got time to wait for this kid to figure it out. Let me get someone who just knows what the hell they're doing, and he brings in Frank Reich. So to hear Rich Cimini says that, it's just sort of validating because, like, if he's in over his head, AG can't put his job on some guy who's in over his head trying to figure it out. Like, come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Let's show some love. For goodness sake. So, like, I love the Frank Reich edition. Again, raise the floor, baby. Raise the floor. And shout out to Brandon Tierney last night, who was talking about the floor is the roof, that Michael Jordan quote. Very nice. I want to raise the floor. I want to raise the floor. And I think that's what the Jets should want to do. Knowledge of Jedi says Ravens or Bengals might take him top 15 on Sadiq. Maybe, I guess. I guess that's possible. We'll keep an eye. But here's the thing, Jet fans, is that don't worry. You're picking 16 and if you see Sadiq go or you see these receivers go or this, and you're like, oh man, we're going to have nothing. Like, what? What do you mean? At most, 15 players can go before you, and you have one of those 15 picks. So at most, 14 players can go in front of you, okay? And the only one that's truly off the board is Fernando. Everyone else, if someone else gets taken ahead of you, then someone else drops. That's how it works. You're not going to – there is – let me say it this way, because I've heard some Jet fans say this earlier this offseason, 16 sucks. No. You're going to be able to get something real nice at 16. Real nice at 16. And I'm going to be honest, when the Jets made the Colts trade, I'm like, oh boy, we're going to get something at 25th. And I was cool with it. I was just saying it is what it is. Like, our pick is going to be like 25th. And we got it at 16. What a deal. And who knows? Who knows what the first rounder could be next year for the Colts? Maybe it's high. Who knows? So I'm just telling you, man. Yeah, who knows? But let's put some respect. Incel Lon says Sadiq would be great in the slot. No corner can cover him. Yeah, I love the things about tight end is that they're too big for a corner and too fast for a linebacker. And obviously, Kenyon Sadiq very much, checks off those items off the proverbial bucket list for sure. Yo Holmes says 8 minutes. Which team will be the first to blow it and miss their pick? Yeah, the last one I remember was between the Ravens and Chiefs at the end of the first round a couple years ago. And I believe the Ravens were trying to do a trade and then like the time ran out. And for those who don't know, what happens if so, like for instance, let's use the Jets as an example. I hope this never happens. If the Jets are picking 16, right, and they get 8 minutes on the clock, just like any other team in the first round, and the 8 minutes elapses and they didn't make a pick, then whoever's picking 17, which off the top of my head, I can't remember. Let me see. Who the hell is picking 17? Who the hell is picking behind us? Whoever's picking 17, which is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions would be on the clock and they flip. So essentially the Lions would be on the clock at 16 now and the Jets would now be picking 17. If your time elapses, you just switch one. They go up. You didn't make a pick. So they jump in front of you and you drop back a spot. Now, whatever happened to that Ravens Chiefs thing from a bunch of years ago, apparently the Ravens still got the player they wanted. They didn't get sniped. Could you imagine that? Like, let's say the Jets wanted Sadiq or something. And then whatever kerfluffle happened where they didn't get the pick in time. And then Detroit shot clock like, sweet, we'll take Sadiq. And you lose the player. Oh my God, that'd be a nightmare. That'd be a nightmare. Yeah, so who is that? I don't think it happens. I think people are going to mind their P's and Q's. But, I mean, I guess it did happen once, so I guess it could happen again. That's pretty crazy, though. That did happen. Unbelievable. Somehow it did, in fact, happen. All right, let's do this. I see I have a ton more questions and comments, and I'll feed into those. But what I'll do is I will open up the phone lines, and I'll open up the phone lines, and then we'll keep answering your questions and comments. We've got a couple hundred people in the room. Again, folks, like the video, hit subscribe. If you're just joining us and you missed the topic matter at hand, it's always in the YouTube description down below in an article form that I put up this morning for heavy.com. We'll play a quick Hep timeout. If you guys would like to call into the show, whether you're a first-time caller or a long-time caller, feel free to do so, baby. And we'll bring you on right here on the show. Let's roll. We'll be back after this.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. Talking Jets football, man. Bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S. Jets! Boy Green, bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. We're talking Jets football, man. Boy Green, bugging daily, bugging daily, bugging daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets! Let's go!
Let's go, baby. Welcome back to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you find your podcast. Again, like the video here on YouTube. Let's friggin' go. Real quick, before we go on, for any of you who missed it, I'll replay the footage from Jets Collective last night. This is what Rich Cimini had to say about the rumblings with Kenyon Sadiq. Roll it.
I've heard some rumblings in the scouting community about the Jets and Kenyon Sadiq. I mean,
really?
If the wide receivers are gone, like if Tate, Jordan Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon are gone, and you're sitting there at 16 and Sadiq is there, which I think he probably will be, that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, he is off the charts athletically. I mean, the guy ran a sub 4.4. He's a good kid. There's no red flags. I mean, you could run a lot of two tight end stuff. I mean, the Jets need dynamic weapons. I think we all agree on that. They got Garrett Wilson, and pretty much that's it on the perimeter. Yeah. So you split him out, and you use Mason Taylor as your traditional wide tight end. You got something there. You got a tough matchup for the defense.
Again, that was from the brand new Jets podcast, The Jets Collective, a brand new YouTube show with ESPN's Rich Cimini, a longtime radio guy, Brandon Tierney, a.k.a. BT, and Jake Asman. That show debuted last night, and it's doing great numbers, good for those guys. And again, a very interesting nugget from ESPN's Rich Cimini. If you missed it, either on the show last night or this morning. All right, let's jump into the phone lines. And boy, this topic has revved some engines out in the audience. We've got plenty of people calling in. All right, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. I freaking love draft season, baby. This is the best. All right, let's roll through. We'll kick it off with Hap here on the show.
Hey guys, that Reese and Sadiq. That's not my preference, but I wouldn't be disappointed with that. That's a solid 2 picks right there. And I'd rather, like what the other caller said before, I'd rather have the best tight end than the 3rd or 4th best wide receiver.
Right.
I'm always voting. For the most part, I try to go for the player, especially when you're so deficient in so many areas. The other thing is, I think you're a little rough on Taylor. I remember he had Fields not throwing to him, and he had that was the craziest thing last year. There's a quarterback that didn't throw the ball and
that is hilarious. Yeah, you had Fields throwing. Actually, you had Fields not throwing on the ball. That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard on this show.
Yeah,
that is funny and true. Unfortunately for Mason,
that's why it's so funny, because it's so true. It's like almost like it said I could cry or I could laugh. So let me laugh.
Yeah. But yeah, you're probably right. I am probably being too harsh on it because, I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, look at the Jets had the worst passing offense in the league, and not so like that's bad, right? You don't want to be last, but they were last by a 25-yard gap. So that means they were playing like soccer or something, and everyone else was playing American football. Like they were playing a different sport. To have that, like and I think I did an analysis on this for an article like a month ago, like. In passing yards of the 32 teams, no one had a bigger gap between two teams than the Jets at last and the team at 31st. Everyone else was close. They were like 5 yards apart, 7 yards apart, this yards apart. And then it just went all the way through from 31 to number 1. Like they were all like this. Yet the Jets on an island. So you're probably right. I'm probably being, too harsh on on Mason there. And hopefully he's healthy. It was a bizarre, weird neck thing. Was it just them tanking in a weird way? God, I hope so. Just because I don't want anything serious with Mason. Hopefully they were just, fudging around and not putting guys out there. Hopefully that's what it was, because Aaron Glenn, who had normally been pretty straight on injuries all year. This guy's in, this guy's out, this guy's in, this guy's out. The way he said, oh, Mason should probably be back next week. And then 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? So I hope he's totally fine. And from everything we've heard, he supposedly is. So I hope that's the case.
Well, I mean, with if you had the 2 tight ends set, Breece Hall coming out of the backfield and Garrett Wilson stretching the field, that's a nice little matchup there.
Sure.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. There he is, Hep, joining us here on the program. And hey, I appreciate accountability. That's important. You're being a little harsh on old Mason Taylor there. Yeah, I was. I'm going to be honest. You want to know who got it? You want to know where all that stems from? Want to know where that stems from? It stems from my old man, Hop on Pop. When I bring up Mason Taylor saying, hey, he was pretty close to breaking the rookie franchise record for receptions. He's like, yeah, because all your other tight ends have sucked, Paul. So he has given me some recent negativity, and that planted a seed in my brain. I've been a pretty high Mason Taylor guy the entire time, but he planted that seed in the back of my head, and I didn't think about it. And apparently it's just been growing back there. And then I just sort of exploded. So I blame Hop on Pop for that one, for planting that seed and watering it, that bastard. That's who I blame for that. But I did say it, so it's on me. Mobby. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We got plenty of people trying to call in. Love it. Easy in the truck.
Hey.
What's up?
I understand why Pop is negative. I mean, these days being a Dallas fan is almost as bad as being a Jet fan.
Or worse, as a matter of fact. They haven't been to a conference championship game in how long,
I mean, their management staff, a.k.a. Jerry Jones, they made some pretty, stupid decisions. The whole Micah Parsons thing was a debacle.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, hold on, we're going to get dizzy.
Woo! Whoa.
I'm getting off the highway. This whole thing with the draft picks, I'm kind of back and forth. I mean, I want Vega as bad as any pick I've ever wanted right now, because I desperately believe that he can solidify the O-line. And like you were saying yesterday, without a good offensive line, you can't do shit. You can't pass protect. You can't run block. So a good offensive line, basically, you can't do anything without it. You got to have a good offensive line. You can't run. You can't pass. You can't do screens. You can't do shit. And also, like the point I made yesterday, and even Joe Douglas said this, and Joe made some mistakes, but we still love Joe. He was right. You cannot replace offensive linemen during the season. God forbid anyone gets hurt. That's it. You have to just go into your squad, the twos and the threes and the practice squad. Nobody is going to trade for an offensive lineman during the regular season because they're just too valuable. So that's why you really, really need to get one of these guys now. It's just weird how every year the skilled players always seem to be available at the trade deadline. A bad team that has really good skilled players that are just not making their numbers because of whatever the other circumstances are. You can always get a running back. You can always get a wide receiver. You can always get like a linebacker, but you cannot ever get an offensive lineman worth his shit once the season starts. It's really the toughest position to gain. So that's why I really think we need to either get Vega or that right guard. God, I keep forgetting his name. The other kid. Who's that other kid? I don't know what school. You got Vega, who's primarily a left guard, and then there was this other guy that's coming up in the draft that people projected us to get at 16 or 33, who's a right guard. I can't remember his name, but there are two good guards out there.
Yeah.
We need to get one. I mean, it's an absolute must. And I didn't realize how good this tight end Sadiq is. He's running the 4.3s.
Yeah.
He's running
4.38.
4.4. And how tall is he?
6'3".
Well, that's not very tall for a tight end, but it's tall for a receiver. And if he can run a 4.3, you can grab him.
100%.
Nobody can cover him. He's a mismatch. You put him on the left side next to Garrett Wilson, put him in the slot, or put those two, doubles outside, or run a trip pattern, and he's just going to cut over the middle, or run like a slant towards the middle and then straight up the seam. He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
What's his? Well, it's overrated on my things are route running ability,
sure,
and hands. Does he drop the ball?
Right.
And if he's got a good catch percentage and he's projected to be a decent route runner, I don't give a shit if the guy couldn't block a pillow. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
We have that's why I want to get Vega and Sadiq. I think if we got those two guys, now the way to do that is I think you trade back from 2 back somewhere like 5-6.
All right.
If we can trade back from 2 to 5-6, and then I want to trade from 16, maybe up to 12, 11 or 12.
All right.
That would be what I would try to do.
Okay.
But I definitely feel with all these players available, especially those 3 primary defenders,
sure,
that everyone's talking about, we could afford to slide back a couple of positions, and then we could either take one of those 3 guys,
right,
or we could just grab Sadiq.
Okay.
I think he's worth that high a pick because, quite frankly, all we have is Ruckert and Mason. And just because Mason's uncle and father were Pro Bowlers doesn't mean that Mason's going to be one.
Sure.
Doesn't mean that.
That's
but
true.
This guy Sadiq has Pro Bowl written all over him. Look, we passed the last 2 years on high quality tight ends.
Yeah.
And look
we
at
passed
how
on Wagyu.
great
Yeah.
we passed on Warren. last year when we passed on the best of all time as a rookie the year
Brock
before.
Bowers.
Bowers, yeah. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Now, so we already passed on Bowers. So
Yeah.
if we could get Sadiq, I mean, just shit, I would almost take him and Vega over those three top defenders.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, because they did a really good job on the defense this year. They really, really did. They really did. And you can always get one of those type of players.
Okay.
Maybe not the edge rusher, premium edge rusher, but if you think this guy Sadiq is game changer,
Yeah.
being that we have 3 first-rounders next year, and we're not even projected to go to the playoffs this year, I think we're about a 7 to 9 win team this year.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's a building process.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of this as AG's first year. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking last year was so bad and so horrible, and I really think that he misevaluated the talent and the coaching that we had last year to the point where it damn near cost him his job. I don't think he's going to make those same mistakes this year, and I was all for cutting his ass and going brand new with an experienced coach. But now that we have Frank Reich, basically being the offensive, head coach, and then we just let AG concentrate on the defense, and we already have our great, special teams coach in Chris Banjo. I mean, I think we have a core of a good situation, starting here. I can almost imagine if when we had Rex Ryan, he had Frank Reich as his offensive coordinator, what that would have been, because I think we had Westhoff still back then, didn't we?
Yeah, sure.
So can you imagine Rex Ryan and Westhoff and then Frank Reich? That would have been a pretty awesome coaching staff right there. Maybe AG has what he needs now. I'm hoping. I'm praying. Because I do not want to tank this year. Even though, like I said, this would be the best year to tank.
Sure.
with our assets and the class coming out. But then again, that once it comes up to draft time, everyone's going to say, 2028 is going to be better. So every year they do that shit.
They do. Easy, you're the best, baby. Good luck and safe travels.
Thank you.
You spin my head right round, when you go down, down. Wow, that was, I almost threw up. That got me dizzy. What the hell is going on there? Salute to Easy. Yes. By the way, maybe this is a stupid question. What is going on with the phone? Is it like attached to the steering wheel? Like when I'm spinning it, like, is he like holding it with a third hand? Like, what the hell is happening there, man? I'm just, whoa. What God's green earth, what's going on there, man? Is there like a tool or something that's on the stick? And by the way, there's got to be a covenant when I'm like turning the wheel, and then there's like maybe I just shouldn't ask these questions. I don't know. Anywho, I guess let's go back to the phone lines here. What God's green earth? All right, up next, Lou B here on the show.
Good morning, BG. I am looking at video evidence of an interview yesterday.
Okay. And they asked me about it sounds like I fumbled in my Notre Dame career, and I said one time it was against Boise State. The ball came out, didn't lose it, but it did come out. And I don't really fumble a lot because I like to give the credit to my coach, Coach McCullough.
That's our guy.
Jets asking about his fumbling history. I heard that yesterday. And by the way, the Jets had a full contingent at the Notre Dame Pro Day. They had all their guys out there. Frank Reich was talking to Marcus Freeman. Like, maybe they're doing some homework on a certain prospect, perhaps, maybe?
Absolutely. So either they're using it as a smoke screen for people to come and trade them, or they're thinking about it. BG, I have a quick scenario I wanted to ask you.
Okay, scenarios. I love scenarios.
What happens if the Titans call up and they want to trade two, obviously, and we say, hey, we're not going to trade you two. We're going to stick and pick, but we'll give you Brees We want your 4 pick. What would be the value? Humor me for a second. What would be the value if we gave Brees to the Titans? We stick and pick at 2.
Okay.
We give Brees to the Titans, and we look
Okay.
to trade up. Obviously, 16 and Watt.
Oh, so you're telling me we get 16 and Brees to package to move up to 4 you're talking about?
To 4.
Whoa. Well, all right, let's do some
I know
math
this sounds
here.
crazy, everyone, but
Okay. All
think
right.
about the options at 4 that would be there.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's see this. All right. So
And while you're doing that, I think Sadiq goes to the
yeah.
Chiefs.
Ooh, okay. All right.
They have
So
to, this will be his last year, probably, Kelsey. So
okay, so if the Jets went from 16 to 4, before we even include Brees, that's an 800 point value difference, which is the equivalent of the 21st overall pick in the first round. That's Pittsburgh's pick. That's how much, how worthwhile that is for that jump. So the Jets would have to give up.
BG, wouldn't Brees have sort of like a 3 value in points?
Sure, he'd have a 3 value. And if I get, and
So
if
how many
I give
points would
you,
that be?
out of respect, a 3 value, let's call it 200 points. So now we have, instead of making up 800 points, we still have to make up 600 points, which is a end of first round value. So you would still have to make that up, even if you gave those points for Brees. So you'd have 16 Brees, and then you'd have to give up, like, I'm sure they would argue for a 2027 1, but you would, man, maybe you could
no, that
convince
would
them
be
on a
too
2, but
expensive.
yeah, the price just seems too high, I think.
Oh, that would be too expensive then. For me, that's too expensive.
Yeah,
my opinion.
That seems too rich. Now, and once you start cracking the numbers, it seems like unless Robert Saleh has a soft place in his heart, he's trying to do a sweetheart deal, which
He
again,
does no Brees.
if you go to 2009, the Jets traded up from 17 to 5, and they got a sweetheart deal from Eric Mangini, who was just fired by the Jets, went to the Browns, and he hooked him up. All the Jets had to give up was a first, a second, and a bunch of players: Brett Ratliff, Kenyon Coleman, Abram, and they give up a bunch of players Mangini just wanted from the roster, and they switched to 1 and a 2, and that's all they had to give up. And that was, they got an undersell job. Like, Mangini gave him a sweetheart deal. It should have cost them a lot more to move up for Sanchez, and they didn't. So unless Saleh does something like that, that's just a lot of points.
Yeah, as everyone knows, I love, and I think yesterday, and I said once if they interview him, and then they did, I think it's going to be really hard to walk away from him. I just do. I think they did a great job filling a lot of holes with the defense. They went very defense heavy in free agency, and I just think that Love is a possibility at 2. I've been hearing so many things how this year's draft, you can't really put positional value because of the way the draft is. I mean, when you go on PFF later, I'm going to call it out. Love goes before 4 or 5. I just did 4 of them real quick while we were on the phone. They have Arizona taking Love, Titans taking Love, Giants taking Love. It's the same thing every time. It's either Styles or Love filling up that gap right there. And I just think it's a possibility, BJ. I do not think Love is out of the question at 2. Everyone can scream and say whatever you want, but on Sunday morning, you will not be upset the day Love takes that first snap with the Jets. They may get Love. I am convinced more than ever after they met him. It's a serious consideration. It has to be. And if it's not, let everyone come up and trade. Let's at least get paid for this man. Because he's going to make us pay. He's going to make us pay one of these Sundays. I can tell you that much.
That'd be wonderful. Lou B, I appreciate you, man.
Go Jets.
Let's do this. I see this from NC Green. We're putting up a new poll for Lou B. Who's more passionate about their 2026 NFL draft take? Tank for Ty Simpson, or Lou B for Jeremiah Love? So I love that. So let's a great idea, great poll idea. So we will put that up right now. Who do you believe has been more passionate? Both have been arguing their case for this. So let us know who it is. Lou B for Tank for Ty Simpson, or Lou B for Jeremiah Love. We'll put that up. Okay, I'm putting up that poll. There it is. That poll is now up. Feel free to vote again. Who is more passionate about their 2026 NFL draft take? Tank for Ty Simpson, of course, or Lou B for Jeremiah Love? Make sure you vote. I'm curious to see. I mean, it's not like, Lou B hasn't changed his name. Yeah, right. Tank for Ty. That's his name. So I don't know how much that's a factor. We'll circle back to that poll. Great idea. We're a show by the people for the people. So appreciate that. So thank you to NC Green for a great poll idea. Very nice. Very nice. All right, back to the phone lines. Up next is Chef Kevin Gilbert, live from the Cloverleaf Tavern.
BG, good morning, man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing swell, pal. How are you, man? At Fastest Food Reviews, one of the fastest, biggest growing
Hey.
YouTube channels of all time.
Hey, man. Yeah, we're still pumping out content.
Yeah,
A little slow the last couple weeks just because, with my health and all that. So,
of course. Right.
kind of, took a little break, but
Naturally, right, of
yeah, this
course.
this 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 weekend we'll be back. We got some restaurants lined up, some good
Mm,
things coming through.
nice.
Um, so do I have time, or I get
Time for what?
this? I got some things to get off my chest, like
Play.
with
Oh,
what
yeah, sure. Yeah, you can
yeah,
go
with
full
what
screen.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
the Sadiq talk,
Yes, sir.
I'm with it, man. I thought that was a
Oh,
good
cool.
poll.
All right.
Seeing that amount of that percentage, I think it was 70 something, 30 something
Yep.
or whatever. Like I thought that
Yep.
was like a good split. I'm still in the camp of if Lemon is there, we get him.
Mm-hmm.
Just the weapons, like we need that. I feel like with Mason, just like to Hep's point earlier about him not really having much of an impact on offense. Like when Mason's Taylor one and only touchdown isn't thrown by a quarterback, that's all you really need to know.
That's true. Right.
So for Mason, I feel like his area of improvement, which we desperately need, which is why I think that's a deep talk, is like, kind of gaining some steam, is his blocking ability. I think he's like he's more of like that pass catching tight end more than a blocking tight end. Now he could
Mm-hmm.
do both, but I feel like his him being utilized as a weapon is more important than putting him in the blocking schemes. Ruckert, that Long Island native, he's still around, man. He's still, good dude and all that. But the impact, that's something that we haven't really seen from him. And he's a blocker. So
Yeah.
if Lemon is gone, Sadiq is there. I think it's a no brainer. We get him, and
Mm-hmm.
then Rucker then kind of goes into that fullback kind of role, that blocking. Maybe he fake a fullback dive, turn around, little button hook, turn around 3-4 yard catch, and then maybe grab another yard or two because his yak moves are trash.
Mm-hmm.
So we need somebody who can like really get busy.
Mm-hmm.
And for Sadiq, like if you just look at the stats, it was like I think it was like 50 catches. Appreciate you, boss. It was like 50 catches, it's like around 500 yards,
Yeah.
and then maybe 10 or 11 touchdowns.
Ooh.
So it's like nothing too crazy like jumping off the page. So what that quick math is like around 11 yards a catch.
Sure.
I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but just going off of that, like 10,
Yeah.
10 yards, 11 yards, something like that. So for me, it's important that, he does a little bit more because in that Oregon offense with the
Mm-hmm.
weapons, with Dante Moore, who, if he didn't go to college, back to college, he probably would have been with us. I would need to see a little bit more. So, just the stats alone is not really jumping off the page like that.
Right.
But, combine stuff, just looking at him like, yeah, he's a freak. So is this somebody we can mold? I hope. I think so. I think he'll be utilized better in the blocking game just because of what I said about Mason.
Mm-hmm.
But that the Sadiq talk, I think it's a good point. I was the past Sunday with Jets Worldwide. It
Yeah.
was Johnny Boy brought it up to me, and I'm like, yeah, if he's there, I'll be happy with that. But that's my stance. So I mean, it's good about for the most part, we're all on the kind of the same page of
Yeah.
not passing him up if he's there, and if there's no other wide receiver options.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good point. The other thing is that you brought up about Mason, about how your pops kind of like
Yeah.
got into your head and all that.
Mhm.
Well, he also got into your head about the Brees stuff too.
That's true. Yeah, right. He tells me every day. I'll call him. I'll talk to him. At the end of the call, I'll be like, "I love you, Dad," and he'll tell me, "I hate Brees Hall." I'm like, "What?" And so he does that every night. So it's sort of over time, I guess, just sort of grades on you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, hey, man, I get it. If we trade him
Yeah.
for some value and whatever, like I get it. But
Yeah.
as of now,
Yeah.
I think we're good. We're good, boss. I saw you guys. Just mind checking it off. I'm on a call right now. Just check it off for me.
I already checked it off. I just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just need a pen.
Oh,
I
you
don't
saying
have
you
one.
need a pen?
Yeah. Just so I can sign off. My bad, BG. Give me a sec.
No worries at all. The old Herbie
Yeah, I know
Hancock
you
here.
guys are good with that.
Yeah, appreciate you. No problem.
My fault, BG. So
No,
with
not at all. Yeah.
have a good one. Yeah, take it easy, man. So for me, with Muji, man, I
Yeah.
feel like for most of us, even though that they're saying AG and Muji are tied at the hip and all this stuff, they
Mhm.
clearly work together. It's then like how much work is Muji doing to extract the best out of the trades, and
Mhm.
for what Muji's doing, he's doing a good job at this point. But it's like the pro day. I'm happy he's skipping Simpson, all right, and
Mhm.
going over there to Ohio State to make sure that he's looking at this big talent pool of players that will be available for us to choose. And with that, then it's like last year we were all screaming for the most part about defensive linemen,
Right.
and we didn't address that in free agency. We didn't address that in the draft. But he addressed it right before the season started, which made me feel good. Like, okay, they noticed some holes, they needed some depth, and addressed it. For me now, it's like wide receiver. We're all pretty. We're all on the same page where we need some weapons. But then it's
Mhm.
like the defense too, the depth. I don't see a lot of depth at that linebacker position, where it's almost giving me like the heebie-jeebies. Where when we had Carl Lawson as a defensive end and all the eggs were in the one basket for Carl Lawson, he goes down in training camp, and then our whole season's shot to what,
Yeah.
and we made a trade for I think it was like Shaq Lawson or something, the dude from the
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Right. Yeah.
That really didn't really help too much. But with Davis, who now we got, he came back. We all like him. True Jet fans, we all like
Mhm.
him. He's a solid dude. But he's older. Knock on wood. If he goes
Sure.
down, then where are we at?
Ooh,
So
not in a good
you know what I'm.
place. No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the linebacker depth, we got to address that as well. So that Reese pick
Mhm.
at 2, it's growing on me a little bit. I still want Bane, but
Sure.
big picture, looking down the road, like Reese might be that guy that we need just in case for injury purposes. We put him there.
Mm.
I do think he's more of a linebacker. So for me, value wise, I think it's a little too rich to draft a linebacker at 2.
Yeah.
But in the scheme that Glenn needs, he's a good scheme fit. So we'll trust that Glenn can get that done. But
Hey, by the way, real
yeah.
quick, you apparently put a bat signal in the air. My father awoke from his crypt and said, "Not Brees Hall hate. I'm just a Brees Hall truther." Hop on Pop says, "Oh, nice! Wow, nice, good,
Good. So with
good to hear."
with the truth, my fault. But go ahead, BG.
No, that's yeah. Please.
So with the truth, do you see improvement? There has to be context with this as well, where it's like the quarterback, which we're all talking about. Mason's Taylor only touchdown was thrown by who? Brees.
Brees.
All
That's a
right.
good point.
So he had nothing. All right. Tell me the wide receivers he had. Garrett's gone.
Mm.
Who was the wide receiver help? What defenses that we were going against was afraid of our wide receivers?
No one.
It's context. So then what do? You focus on the box. You focus on stopping the run.
Yeah.
And guess what? Brees got 1,000.
Yep.
All right. And even when you stack in the box, even when we're getting blown out by 20, 30, when we're still passing, Brees is still getting his yards, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to talk about like, hey, overpaying, I could agree with that. We
Mm-hmm.
we waited too long to give him a bag. We waited
Yep.
until the franchise tag
Yeah.
until that came. I think that was poor management. All
Mm.
right, we couldn't unload him for any picks from Kansas City. Not budging on a fourth. I get that. For us in the last whatever said years, who really panned out in the fourth round? All right, you want to say
I have to go
Braylon
back to
Ford?
like Jericho Cotchery. You
You
know.
want to say Braylon? He what did he do
Oh,
for
Braylon,
us?
right? He hasn't done Bupkis yet.
This is what
I
I'm.
know.
Yo, come on, man. And then
Yeah.
last year too, with us moving up, I didn't think it was that good of a round. Come on, boss. I didn't think it was that good of a selection. So for 4, it doesn't really pan out.
Right.
But for Simpson, because I know you have that poll going down, I think
Yeah.
it's if the tie for Simpson guy, if he would to call in, he could put up a really
Yeah.
good case because we do need a quarterback. Ty Simpson is good, but for the first round, it's too rich. Even 33, I don't think so. For that second round pick, I would be happy with that because is he a franchise quarterback? And if he
I don't
is,
know.
then you get him
Yeah.
at 2. If that's how you
Sure.
feel.
Yeah.
You don't want to pass up a franchise quarterback, but for most of us that have watched him, have seen the highlights, seen games, actual games, have looked at the stats and all that. I don't see that. So then what do we do next year? Next year we draft a quarterback. So
Yeah.
now you spend a first round pick on a backup.
Oh.
So, but let me run. I got
Okay.
a few things I need to finish up. Just want to give you a couple of minutes, but
Thank you, Chef.
I do want to shout out the Coffee Club, Espresso Club members, number one
Yes.
Austrian Jet fan,
Mhm.
Indy Jets, Johnny Boy. We're thinking about you, and a new caller shout out. The knowledge the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's my new favorite. For new callers to the
Okay.
Boy Green, Coffee Club.
Okay.
Knowledge, if you're listening, man, keep it up, man. Love your takes, man. Keep calling in. And anybody else who's like on the fence with calling in, give it a shot, man.
Love it. Chef, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Chef Kevin Gilbert, what a sterling response. And I'm sure wherever Knowledge of Jedi is, I'm sure he really appreciates that. Let's go next to Knowledge of Jedi.
Hey, I appreciate you, Chef. I like that.
Wow.
Thank you,
Wow.
Boy
Chef
Green.
giving you some love, some unbridled, and I didn't ask him nothing, didn't tell him nothing. That's pretty. That's from one of the OGs of Chef
I
Kevin
appreciate
Gilbert.
it.
That's
Just like everybody, we have the same commonality that we all love the Jets. Because
yeah.
believe me, if you didn't love this team, you wouldn't stay a fan. You know what I'm
Chef,
saying? Like,
or not Chef. I was about to bring up Chef's comment, but Knowledge of Jedi, like, I don't need your social security number, your blood type, but where generally do you live in the United States of America?
oh, I'm from New Jersey. I was born and raised here in New
Oh,
Jersey. I
and do you
lived
still
all
live in the
over
area?
America, though. I lived
Do
all
you,
over America, but I'm born and raised in New
do
Jersey.
you still live in the area right now?
Yeah, I just moved back to New Jersey about 4
Oh,
years ago. I'm back home.
okay. Well, I'll tell you this, more details to come. I don't know if you've heard me promoting this every once in a while, but Chef Kevin Gilbert caters our tailgate. So we do a tailgate. And last year we had like 60 Jet fans from the Boy Green Coffee Club. We all went to a game together. We partied in the parking lot, and then we all sat together for the game. So we're doing that again this year. So stay tuned now. Jadetta, I can meet Chef, me, and everybody else. So maybe that's
Oh,
there on the
definitely.
horizon.
That's something I would look forward to. I
Dope.
appreciate that.
Great.
Um,
Two things here, real quick. I want to give a shout out. We have the poll going on right now. Who is more passionate about their 2026 NFL draft take? Tank for Ty or Lou B for Jeremiah Love? And I appreciate Tank for Ty trying to grease the wheels here by gifting a membership to see if he could buy some votes. I respect that. Yep.
when it comes to that poll, I'd rather grab Love. Like, you already know how I feel about Ty Simpson. 15 games ain't enough, especially not for no first round QB. Like, I'm all in for Carson Beck at 103. Forget that. Like, if Atlar or Nesmeyer doesn't drop there, take Beck. He's a safe bet. I feel it there.
Okay. By the way, real quick, that membership went to Matthew C. Thank you, Tank for Ty, for trying to bribe some votes. I respect that. That went to Matthew C. For that membership. You have 2 raffle tickets to our contest. Go ahead, Knowledge the Jedi.
Yeah, I think yesterday when they were talking to the Notre Dame coach, it was probably asking about Fields, the receiver, because he looks like a type that might convert over to tight end if they take Sadiq earlier than 16, because we could probably get him second round. You know what I'm saying? And then focus on a receiver at 16, maybe Vega. But I still feel there's a deep guard draft. Like I already said, at 44, we could take the kid out of Texas A&M. You know, he's a dog in itself. There's a lot of guys. We can even take the Iowa guy with the mullet. You know, his hair looked majestic when he was running. He was like, what, a 5.18 in his run? So imagine him as a pulling guard. He's coming like only a second slower than most of the running backs. Plus, Notre Dame had 2 of the top running backs there, which means that the Jets, We don't know what's going on in the office in the back end. The Jets might feel they're not going to be able to sign him. Maybe what if they don't believe they could sign Hall during the season? Then we're in a scenario that we're going to trade him during the season. Now, who we got in the backfield? We're gonna go on Allen off of a knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go to Allen. What if we do grab Love number 2? Shock everybody. Get the best offensive player outside of QB. This guy could play running back and receiver. What if we just shock everybody? What if right now the Jets does filled knees in free agency and did luxury picks every pick and just stuck and pick? And then if someone offered us a boatload, maybe we'll think about it. But we're gonna probably go best football player available in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't be mad at us taking Love. People would be like, they're gonna draft it as a B. They're gonna grade it as a B+ because we got Bryce on the depth chart.
Right.
But it could also be a power move. You take him, it's a power move. Now we're in discussions of people hitting our phone up before 16. If we're interested in trading Bryce, what if we want to move up? What if we want to give up 16 and maybe a 4th round pick, this year, and then give up a 3rd next year, and then that accumulates enough capital for us to move up to maybe a 4 or a 7 or 8 in the draft, moving back up in the top 10, because there's only 11 blue chippers in this draft.
Okay.
So I don't know if people watch the movie Blue Chips, but it's basically, if a guy's labeled a blue chipper, he's already elite. He's a guy that's good, they feel is going to make a splash right away. Now, when it comes to depth at linebacker, let's say we go edge at 2. We could get a good linebacker at 33 with CJ Allen. If we don't go with CJ Allen at 33, we could get Jacob Rodriguez at 44.
That'd be
fun.
Know
what I'm saying? Like, there's pretty good middle linebackers that we could get that are young. And I think the main focus we need to do if we do draft any defensive players is look at how many times they forced a fumble, how many times they turned over the ball, because that's what we were lacking last year. We already have young talent. So if we're going to bring in something, bring in what we're missing. Like, that's why I like that safety from Toledo. He perfected, he like a Tillman. He perfected the punch, knocking the ball out.
Love that.
What I'm saying? That's why I like him, because if not him, I would be like, oh, why don't we just get Downs, even though his shoulder or his knee or whatever the case may be that they're talking about his medicals that they're finding that could probably progress later.
Yeah.
But I'm not against grabbing Sadiq at 16, but he's listed as number 14. He's listed at number 14 overall, like best player. Now with the combine, there's too many tight end needy teams in front of us. There's too many. The Ravens, Mark Andrews is old. Like, the Ravens need another tight end. The Bengals are always trying to get offensive weapons.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Especially after a flag football game that's made Joe Burrow look bad. They're definitely going to need another offensive weapon out there.
Yeah.
I also see Kansas City because we don't know if he's gonna retire or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But also, what if he's gone at 4? If we take Love at 2, he could be gone at 4 to the Titans. The Titans need some type of power on offense right now. And a tight end, especially a mismatch like him, that he could convert to receiver, because he's only 6'3", he could convert to receiver. He could solve a lot of problems. Like, you could come into the NFL with a position in your head, and once you get to the team that drafted you, they could tell you straight up, if you want to stay on the roster longer than a year or 2, you might want to change your position. They'll let you know how they want to use you. Now, it's up to you if you're a professional. If you're like, okay, I'll move over here because I know I could play anywhere.
Right.
So, but I see there's some safeties that are there that we could grab. Like, it's a lot of things that are interesting. 16, though, I feel is the biggest question mark that we're having as fans. Everyone feels that, too. We're getting edge rusher. There's 3 premier edge rushers. We're going to look stupid if we don't grab the edge rusher. You know what I'm saying? But we could shock at 2. 2 has the highest value for us right now. We could trade out of 2, still stay in the top 10, and probably get a boatload of picks in the back end because the value is so high to move up. But who really wants to move up if they feel they know who we're going to take? If it's not the guy on their board, why would they move? Like, it has to be something that lures people to want to take it. Now, we could be, they say NFL coaches and they could be a lot of smoke screens. All these pro days are on film already. You don't have to physically be there to watch them. You could just go home and like watching film, be there clicking through a guy's
Yeah, they
progression
can
in the
send
pro
it.
day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it could be smoke screens on where they're going to who they're talking to. Like, look, they were in Miami. Are we getting Bane? Because I'll be happy if we grab Bane, but they're saying they're talking Carson Beck. So, but there's also a tackle there that's premier top 10.
Akeem Mesidor is there, right? Francis
Yeah,
Mauigoa is over
he's
there. There's
top
a couple of Miami
22.
guys. Yeah.
Look at the safety from Miami that just
Yes.
ran a 4.25.
Yeah.
A 4.25 safety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we might be sleeping on these Miami boys, and I'm a big fan of the U. Just like I have a Jets tattoo, I have a Hurricane tattoo.
Oh,
They're my favorite college.
Okay.
But
where's your Hurricane tattoo?
Oh, same arm, man.
Same
arm.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
It's right here. Big old
Let me
Sebastian.
See. Let me go full screen here to see it. Oh, I see now. Yes. Nice.
You feel me?
Okay,
yeah, I'm a diehard fan, yo. So
yeah, there you go. 100%. You got it in blood.
Yeah, you gotta love your teams, and both of my teams got that deep forest green, so I don't really got to switch up when it comes to certain colors.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Naturally, but wow.
Yeah. I just feel like we could set ourselves up once we get a veteran receiver and free agency.
Yes.
We could set ourselves up to really get best player available. I think it's a deep draft for a guard, receiver, safety, and even corner, because we could even sneak the other Styles brother in the 7th round.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
People sleeping on him. He ran a 4.27.
Yeah, he looked great.
That's the same speed as Glenn, and they play the same position, corner. Like,
crazy.
Yeah, we could sneak. Or was it Alonzo? We could sneak the other
What's
Styles
the
brother.
other one? Yeah.
Yeah, we can sneak the other Styles brother in the 7th round. Like, I've done so many mock drafts. He's always available in the 6th, 7th round.
Yeah, Lorenzo is his name.
Yeah.
Lorenzo. Yeah.
He's off that Ohio State defense. He already been coached by a defensive coordinator that has pro experience. So he's obviously going to be smart. If people are sleeping on him, 4.27 fast, man.
That's fast as all hell.
You got to be smart to be in that defense at Ohio State. So he going to be able to get raised up and learned up now. He might be asleep. He might be a sleeper pick.
He may be. And by the way, you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Jeffrey saying, I like this Jedi dude. Canes fan too. Jedi is legit. You heard the chef Kevin Gelbert praise. So you're rising up the boards, Knowledge of Jedi. You're rising up the boards.
I appreciate that. But I just feel that I'm saying the things that we all believe in our mind, that this might be the puzzle pieces we need. We're all watching how the team is transforming every time they add a new player. And then, 4.2 dime package in college is becoming the norm now. And it's a hybrid defense. So we're over here thinking 3-4, and we could go to a 3-4 under, over, and that could convert to all those different sets and just have a base look, and then have hybrid players, like I said the other day, that could shift over to all those other spaces. Because I think we're in good position to get good draft picks. Like, you get me? Like, we can. Let's say we don't get Love. And this is a smokescreen to force someone to pull up to 2, right?
Okay. All right.
I like Black from Indiana, and he's projected to go in the 6th round, 5th, 6th round.
Yeah, right. And we brought him in for a top 30 visit, Keelan Black. Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's a power runner. That guy was brought in when Indiana brought him in as their secondary running back. He was always in a power set, going right between the guard and the tackle and the center, and he was busting right up the seam in the inside run game. And if we go in a scenario that we're double tight or power set, because like I said, we're a power running team, that guy fits the bill. Allen's coming off a knee injury. How we expecting him? He's young, but how we expecting him to come next year? Yeah, we got Davis. He's another power runner, but you know, running backs, it's always to who's the hottest at the time. You know what I'm saying? You could have three the best running backs, and whoever's the best carrier is gonna get the most reps. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know what's going on in the office. Are they gonna be able to sign Brees to a reasonable deal that they see fit? Right now, he just had his only 1,000-yard rushing last year. He wants to get paid like the MVP of the Super Bowl. We're not even a playoff team.
Right.
Now, I get it.
They're
You're
going to
the
have to
second.
figure out the money. Yeah.
No, but I get it. He's the second best weapon we have on offense.
No doubt.
And they knew we were going to run. They couldn't stop him. But he's still listed as what? Like the 12th best running back in the league?
By all these different rankings.
Money.
Right. He's got to earn it. He's got to earn his place, and we'll see if he can. And see again, the contract stuff's probably going to come after the draft if they're going to try to reach a long-term extension, and we'll see if they do. I just got to tell you, Knowledge of Jedi, you're the best, baby.
Oh, I appreciate you, Boy Green. Thank you. Have a good one, my brother.
Horns up, Knowledge of Jedi, the people's champion, spreading the gospel here on the program. Appreciate his call-ins, and apparently we'll see him at the tailgate. All right, there we go. Let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Dave Briga, One Punch Briga's here on the show.
Oh, Paul, there you are.
Well, there he is. What's up, my legendary Dave Briga? What's cracking?
I was patiently waiting here.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we're rightfully so. It's great to have you on the program.
I don't want to be redundant there. Keep on spinning the wheel.
Yeah.
I got a new name for EZ.
All
the
right.
Big Six. You know what the Big Six was? You ever go to a picnic?
Yes.
Yeah. The wheel keeps going round and round, and where it stops, nobody knows, right?
That's for sure. That's part of the intrigue, I guess. Yeah. Wow.
But everybody's got their own takes here. Good thing we're not the GM.
That's right.
We'd be all over the map.
That's true.
Anyway, I just, everybody said more than they can about this whole situation. I just tell you one thing: the draft never goes the way. Most of the times, it never falls the way you think.
Right.
So you got to be prepared for anything. So everybody's got their takes. I guess the main question today was whether Sadiq was worthy. I mean, at this time of the year, you start concentrating more on the videos. I've been going over some videos when I had some free time. And that's Sadiq. He's a beast. He's a beast.
Oh, yeah.
He can move the ball. Sure. I don't go by what the combine says. Forget those combines. All it's good is for the medicals. That's about it. If I want to go run in my underwear, if you want to go run in your underwear, go in the backyard. Go to the local field. It's a bunch of stuff to make money for the NFL. That's all it is. Medicals are the key thing.
Of course.
As far as we don't want to draft guys like Tyson. They show a lot of prospect, but he's always injured. History repeats itself.
Right.
He's an AVT lookalike, That's it. You want a guy like that? You want to take a chance?
No.
I mean, really. I mean, the guy's good, but we don't want the same situations to happen. So we'll see. As far as the wide receiver goes, if that trade for 44 for that Brian Thomas is still there, if they can push it, it's draft day, they can push a trade. There's your wide receiver right there.
Let's go.
He doesn't have good hands. He's got a little drop.
Inconsistent.
Yeah. But he'll give you a veteran if they want to pay him. That's the other question.
Yeah.
But he's there. Lou B's trying to convince himself in the draft of Love. That's all good. All this, building up to the draft, everything is like what they say, smoke screen. I hate cliches, but you can't believe what you see, because everybody's trying to hide what they really want from people. So it all depends on the way the draft, the board works, the way everything falls. And this is where Muji's going to show, what he's got as far as the quarterback goes. We'll see what he pulls out of his hat there. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to see any Aller anywhere. Okay? I don't have any trust in that guy or Penn State quarterbacks. And I'm a PSU veteran. I know the PSU quarterbacks. Okay?
Of course, right.
I know them like a T. And he had Franklin for a coach who was not even a coach. He's just a recruiter. They didn't train the guy right. His feet are terrible. He's got a big gun. That's he doesn't see the field very well. What are you going to do with this guy? Keep him for a backup if they draft the quarterback next? He's not going to play this year. There's no way that guy's going to see the field. Don't waste a number 4 pick on this guy. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are, but everybody's got their opinions here, and that's all fine and well. But come draft day, they're going to do what they do, and we all know everybody's got the materials out there. We got 100,000 people that are draft experts now,
Right.
so don't be surprised at what you see. That's all I can tell you. I'm never surprised what any team does, not just the Jets, but any team. They
Good.
underdraft, they overdraft.
Yeah.
They plan things that we couldn't even expect. They
Yeah.
can't. So all I want to do is this. I
Okay.
want to have some progress going into the future.
Yeah.
That we have solid players. But as far as the main question, Sadiq is worthy at number 16 if you could get him. So
Yeah, I
I got to do
agree.
taxes today.
Me too. Yeah.
I didn't get to see. I got to finish up. I didn't get to see the last 2 days shows. We are just prepared at work for
Yeah.
Holy Week, and so it's been a tough time. And so let everybody hang in there. We'll see what happens. Who's going to the draft? Oh, that's another thing. I had an accident going to the other morning. I ran over this big stake. It was sticking on the road, so I got to get my car repaired.
Ah,
So,
jeez.
yeah, you try to avoid deer ahead, and you look, and here's a big hunk of steel in the road. So,
Jesus.
yeah, everything happens. It's nothing. We had to be prepared for the unexpected, like anything else.
Yeah, right.
And as a Jets fan, we're always preparing for the unexpected.
Yes, it
hopefully,
seems that
hopefully, the expected would be wins, right?
right. Yes, so that would be a lovely change,
Yeah.
Dave Bricker. Well, hopefully we could get that. I appreciate you, Dave.
Okay, Paul. Have a good day.
There you go. God bless to you. Yeah, Dave, talking about the unexpected turns of life and our Jets football team and things in the road. That's terrible. So, good luck on your taxes, Dave. I just have finishing up mine today, for goodness sake, in between all this Jets work. So yeah, get those taxes done, and hopefully, I'm glad that you're okay with that car situation. That sounds awful. Let's go back to the phone lines. Johnny Boy here on the program. Johnny. JB.
BG, good morning, sir. How are you, man?
First and foremost, I'm doing spectacular. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, Skippy. Hey, the conversation with Sadiq at 16.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're telling me all them cats are gone by that time,
yeah,
I do it. Why not?
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you in regards of now the talk is this, right? That Ruben Bain or Caleb Downs, they might be slipping, right?
Yep, I heard. Yep.
Bro, they're at 16.
Oh, come on. If they're at 16, like this is a run the pickup kind of thing, flip a coin, pick one. If they, again, I'm going to do my first mock draft of the cycle where I'm pushing the buttons at 11 o'clock. If I start seeing some slippage, and it gets within my range, I'm making a move. I'm trading up. I'm like, whatever I got to do, now I'm moving up for Bain, down, Sonny Styles if he starts slipping. I'm making a move, man. I'm matriculating up the board to grab another guy, 100%.
So could you imagine, your first two picks is either Reese, Bailey, Sonny, and then your next at 16, because they fall, it's either Bain or Downs? Bro, like the Jets just won the draft with those picks. Now that's probably me, hoping and praying some crazy crap like that happens. Do I think it'll occur? No. But the other question I wanted to ask you, at what round do you start to really look into centers? Is it like the fourth round, or because I know a lot of people are having a lot of love for, I do like Logan Jones. Don't get it twisted. But dude, I'm intrigued by the center from Penn State, Brian Dawkins' little cousin, Nick Dawkins, as well. Yeah. So 6'3", 300 and something pounds of itself. But I wanted to ask you this. I know that when we had Joe Tippmann, one of the biggest problems with Joe Tippmann was that some of the quarterbacks couldn't, look over him because he was so tall. Does that factor anything at all? Or is that just, nonsense?
Well, I'll say on the center thing real quick. I have the PFF big board in front of me here, And the highest ranked center is 80th on the big board. That's Connor Liu out of Auburn. There's Sam Hecht. He's at 84 out of Kansas State. There's Jake Slaughter, 90 out of Florida. There's Logan Jones, 95th. And then there's a massive gap. And the next center is Jaeger Burton out of Kentucky. So to me, I think it, sort of evaluating the board here is that where some of this action is going to happen is right around the mid-third round to early fourth round. So the Jets could miss out on a potential run here, potentially. But if the Jets went Vega, they could move people around. So Vega, left guard, Dylan Parham could go to center. Joe Tippmann could go to center. Parham could go to right guard. Like, maybe you don't need the center. Like, maybe they just draft the center. That's what they do. That could happen. But maybe they just draft the best player, which is Vega on the offensive line, and then they reshuffled the deck. And then your center is either Dylan Parham or Joe Tippmann, and then Myers is your key backup. I think that's a world where instead of just drafting a straight up center and flip-flop with Josh Myers, maybe that happens, and that's another potential way to go for the Jets.
But there's the center from Indiana too, right? As well, I think. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, Pat Coogan.
Pat Coogan, yep. There you go, yeah. Coogan. The other one as well. That could switch too, I think, between
he can play guard and center. Yeah, the old Coogster. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's another position that's not really being talked about enough. But I wanted to ask you, like, at what point, I mean, are we going to draft a center, do you think? Like, is it going to happen? And I think I'm on board. I hope they do draft the center.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, are you on that train, or do you not want to, like, even mess with that? Because I don't want to mess with Dylan Parham and switch him on over. And I actually like him at that position at guard.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna yell at you about if you want to keep Parham where he is. He does have versatility. He has played both guard spots and center in the NFL, so I like that. But like Josh Myers is fine. He's meh. He's whatever. And again, last year, I thought the Jets' offensive line was very solid. I don't think it was a top 5 unit. I think it was very solid. And obviously they were healthy. And Josh Myers was the starting center for 17 games, like all games throughout the entire season. And he was fine. He's not the best center of all time. I don't think he's the worst center, but he's a meh center. On his best day, I think he's average. And I'm fine with that. So if the Jets say, you know what, we can improve on this, you're not going to hear a single complaint in person when we're together or on one of these shows. I'm like, geez, can you believe the Jets took a center? Yes, I can believe. So it's on my bingo card. But like I said, I'm open to the interpretation of drafting a center, and you just let him and Josh Myers, whoever the center is, compete in camp, and then that's the play. Or you draft a really good player and then you reshuffle the interior a little bit. I'm open to that possibility as well. But probably, I guess, to answer your question, unless we pick up a third, I'm probably thinking about it at the very first time at 103, which is the top of the fourth round. That's probably where I start to think about it. But if we matriculate the board and I'm in the third round, I'd consider it in the third round, potentially, middle of the third round. All right, I think we lost Johnny Boy. Or he's just stunned by my question. Or answer, rather. Maybe there too. We lost Johnny there. That's unfortunate. Well, Johnny, thank you for the question. Appreciate that, Johnny. Thank you. Good question about the center conversation. Very nice. But yeah, we'll see. I'd probably start thinking about it in the fourth round. And then if we move around the board, maybe third round. That could totally be possible. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the show. A lot of fun. 300 people in the room. Over 100 of those 300 are on YouTube. Guys, make sure you guys like the video. That is the free way to contribute. FREE. The free way to contribute is by liking the video. Make sure you do that. We have 82 likes, 100 people in the room like that video. Also, hit subscribe, baby. We're a couple subscribers away from 8,520. That's terrific. We got a busy day of content coming for you guys. Jake Asman interview, MC Show Digital. We'll talk about his brand new show, Jets Collector. We'll talk about the latest in Jets land, Kenyon Sadiq, so much more. At 11 o'clock, live on this channel and the MC Show Digital channel, we're doing a live 2-round mock draft. A live 2-round mock draft where I get to call the shots. And to be honest, if you've seen any of my shows, I haven't called the shots on any of them. I've let someone else make all the picks. This time, I run the operation. So it'll be a dueling Jets-Giants mock draft. 2-rounder. I make all the Jets picks. Manshop makes all the Giant picks. So, guys, make sure you stay tuned to that. That will be a live draft conversation coming up at 11 o'clock. So we have a ton of content coming for you guys. I see Tank for Ties asking for the poll results. I wanted to end the show on this, and they are as so. The poll results are: who is more passionate about their 2026 NFL draft take? Tank for Ty Simpson, or Lou B for Jeremiah Love? And the poll results say Lou B for Jeremiah Love. Lou B for Jeremiah Love, 52% of the poll results, but it went back and forth. And Tank for Ty, you were leading for most of the show, to be honest with you. So a recent smack put Lou B over the top. Good poll, though. I love the poll from the audience of you guys jumping in. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us again. Coming up at 11 o'clock, 2-round live mock draft. We're going to have a Jake Asman interview. That'll be pre-recorded. That'll be posting up somewhere in the 1-2 o'clock range. So keep an eye out for that content. I'll be collaborating on that video, so you guys can also check that my collaboration section on YouTube. And then for the Survivor fans of the audience, the only really non-sports thing that I do is weekly Survivor recap shows. So we'll be recapping episode 5 tonight. For all those people out there in the audience. That'll be at 9:45 tonight. My only non-sports thing comes at 9:45 p.m. Eastern time, the CBS reality show Survivor. They're in the middle of season 50. So we'll have that as well. Phenomenal. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Let's go.